He woke up and the first thing he told me was like, Daddy had a bad dream. Like there was an astronaut. And I was like, that doesn't sound like bad to me, you know? He's like, and the astronaut took me outside. And we went up the road so he could show me his spaceship on top of the roof. He had to take me far out to show me how big the spaceship was.
Yeah.
You guys have missing cows.
We're missing 2 cows and
One day, my brother and sister-in-law were headed into town to get some items. As they arrived back home, they noticed that their cows were nowhere to be seen. And they were legitimately perplexed by this. At first, they thought that somebody had stolen their cows, which does happen. But according to them,
based on the amount of time that they were gone, they don't believe that a thief would have time to wrangle those cows, load them up, and take them with no one in the area noticing.
we never correlated this to any type of paranormal activity. This was long before I ever visited the house. And it was actually during our podcast where I connected the dots and I was like, hey, I'm just saying, you guys had cows. They mysteriously disappeared. You're on a ranch. There's like this skinwalker thing stalking you. I don't know what happened to the cows.
Upon reviewing this footage recently, I realized that there's one detail I left out. And it has to do with the bad guy. When asked to describe this bad guy, not only did all of the children agree that he was indeed a coyote, they often described a detail that none of us knew what to make of. Whether he was peering through the window, talking to my niece, or inside the house, there was one thing the children were certain of, and that was that he always carried a gun.
One day, my brother's son, Luke, who was 4 or 5 years old at the time, came to him and said, I had a dream last night.
So he could show me his spaceship on top of the roof. He had to take me far out to show me how big the spaceship was.
yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh, really? He's like, yep. And he had a gun. Like,
I kind of wonder if he did like go outside.
I don't know if it happened, if it was a dream or not. He's never explained a dream to me like that before.
My brother and sister-in-law said they were outside of their house when they look up and they see something in the sky.
Was it after that we saw the cloud?
It was before that.
Before that.
Yeah, it was just before that. We were just like having a good time around the fire, and we turn around and we see this perfectly square, flat cloud. It wasn't a cube, it was a flat, square cloud hovering.
But it was on such a clear night. Like, where we live, it's so rural that you can see all the stars at night.
Yeah.
And when it's a clear sky, you can even see the Milky Way at night.
Yeah, like you see
everything.
Amazing.
And it was one of those nights where you could see the Milky Way, except this one cloud over our house.
The only cloud in the sky.
The only cloud in the sky.
It's like straight up Courage the Cowardly Dog script.
Yeah, dude. And it was, that cloud was no more than 50 feet above the house.
Yeah, it was close.
It was low.
And then it's New Mexico, so it's breezy all the time. And the cloud never moved.
Yeah, it was breezy that night.
It
and
just
the cloud
stayed there. 50 feet above our house for hours. And then it was still there, and we were like, all right, let's go inside. I'm tired.
Right.
I don't know what this was, nor do they. Just another strange thing happening in the middle of nowhere.
My mom and I have both seen like dark spirits, shadow type, but they're always black. But we see them outside sometimes, like all around. And I think it's because we live so close to Indian grounds.
Could be it, and that could be what the coyote is. Because I don't think the coyotes visited in quite a while. The last thing that was mentioned by the kids was the astronaut, which I think might be the coyote. I'm not sure.
Me and Mom had both theorized that the coyote and the bad guy could be old Indian spirits,
Right.
outside, because
That could
of
be
everything
it, yeah.
around. But then told us astronaut story, and then we saw that cloud, and I was like,
Right. So there's
saying, what if it could be aliens?
So your first experience was the man, right? Justin.
Yeah.
my first
yours.
experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Justin's.
But she, through, has known about this for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, so I realize that this is getting confusing because they have so many kids. They have 6 kids. And just for the sake of the story, I'm gonna have to lay them out here. So we have Luke, who is Justin's biological son. And then we have the rest of the children that are Briana's biological children. There we have Ben. Luke and Ben are roughly the same age, and they are the oldest. Then we have Evie, the second oldest. And then we have little boy, the youngest at the time. Currently, they have 2 more children. They are babies today. Let's get back to it.
And the child they're referring to here is Ben, Briana's oldest.
Right.
So it started when was 2, and that's what he will tell you too, that he was 2 years old.
Yeah.
And he saw a bad guy outside his window with a gun, and the bad guy was coming to get him at night all the time with his gun, and he was going to shoot him. And it was to the point that he would not go outside to play during the day even without my presence. You know, you don't want kids up your butt all the time when you're trying to clean the house, and it's summertime. We live in the country, so I was trying to get him to go play outside, and he was not having it. So that's when it started.
Yeah.
And then started
And our younger daughter,
is our younger daughter, and then she started seeing
the coyote.
the coyote, and she called him the bad guy, but she also said that he is a coyote
He's
with a
coyote.
gun. But they always have guns. Everybody's recounts, the children's recounts, because we haven't seen this. They all have guns.
Yeah.